The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sharapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are the Bostonian versus the book.
You covered! You covered 12! I covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Thursday episode of the Bostonian versus the book for Thursday, July the 24th. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all of my socials at Sports Talk Matt. The show is live on our YouTube channel at Boston versus the book. The same on Twitter and X. We're replayed on Sports Grid Television, and we are also replayed on on Sirius XM channel 159. There is a lot going on today. And I mean, there is a lot going on today in the sports world with BVB, with me. If I can pull this show off today without having any major glitches, I think we can do the show from here on out and just roll with it, okay? Because we got a lot of things to get to right at the top. It is going to be a fast-moving show. In 1 hour time, we're going to get to a lot of things very quickly. DBro is on the show today. It is Thursday. That means we're doing another division with season-long NFL props from FantasyPros and BettingPros. Derek Brown joining us, so we're going to get into him in about 20 minutes or so, 15 minutes or so, to talk about everything happening in the NFL. So stay tuned for that. Always really fun conversation. We did the East and the North so far. Now it's the South. We are going to be doing the West next week, but it will be a Wednesday. And then it will be all sorts of things going on for us happening. It's going to be a lot of fun with everything going in. So that's going to happen for us here in a couple of moments. Looking forward to talking to him here around 1:15 Eastern time or so for the NFC South. I have got a couple of things here at the top, the opening line to get into, and then we'll do some other fun stuff. But at the top of the show, I want to talk quickly here about a new opportunity that we're going to be doing with Cut, okay? Cut. They do Cut It Out. We will do the Cut It Out segment of the day today, but this came from you guys. So I went to the Discord channel, which is thebvbshow.com, and go click on our Discord channel, free to be a part of it, and said, what do you guys want to see? Like, what type of things do you guys want? And one of the main things you guys were asking for, and this came from an email from a brigade member of like, hey, is there a way for us to do sort of a community bet? Is there a way for us to do something as we're betting as a community, as our audience, to kind of get us through the dog days of summer here to get to football? What can we do? Well, this is sort of a work in progress, but what we're going to do is like a modified version of the old school Daily Juice Discord bet, where you guys get to pick a game. I'm going to give you two options. You pick one game, and then you guys can go and bet on either side of that game with Cut. Now, most of you guys need to go get a Cut account, okay, to do this. So obviously there's a incentive there from a Cut perspective to get you guys over there onto their platform to use this, but it could be really fun because they're going to give $100 to one of you in site credits for doing that today. So it doesn't matter. You can sign up for $10. You can wind up getting $100 just for signing up using the code BVB. The opportunity, and I'm hoping this works. We haven't done a poll in a while, so I'm not seeing the back end of the chat like I normally do. Let me double check here on this because I need to create a poll for you guys on that, and we're not seeing it the same way we normally do on the back end. Let me just double check and see what we can pop up here, because let's see if I can do it this way. Okay, now I'm seeing it properly. I wasn't seeing it properly before. Now I'm seeing it properly. Okay. I'm going to do a poll. Do you guys want to bet on the Fever versus the Aces at -2? Or do you guys want to bet the Cardinals at -159 or 139 versus the Padres today in Major League Baseball? That poll should pop up inside the chat. We're going to run with that here until we do the cut it out segment in about 40 minutes or so. So go ahead and vote on that. Which game do you guys want it to be the cut BBB play of the day? All right. When you go ahead and do that, there's two options. Okay. There's two different options. You're going to get the opportunity to go and get a 10% deposit bonus at cut.com, or go download the app and use the code BVB at sign up. And the BVB game of the day, $100 to one brigade member who plays the game coming up here for today. So BVB at cut or cut.com. Padres, Cardinals, Aces, Fever. Which game do you guys want it to be the BVB cut game of the day? And you guys can go bet on either side. Whatever game you want to play, you can talk about each other. You can talk trash to each other in the Discord channel, talk trash to each other in the chat. So we're going to try it. Okay. Let's see how it works out. Let's see how it plays out and whether you guys enjoy this or not for that. So let's have some fun. Let's enjoy it here with the BVB cut play of the day. Cut it out. Pick which one, Padres, Cardinals, or Aces, Fever. Which game draws your fancy for the BVB game of the day? A lot of you are talking about it already. We'll talk about it as well. Hulk Hogan at 71 years of age has passed away. If you're 48 like me, you don't know pro wrestling without Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania, WrestleMania. This is at Vegas at Caesar's Palace. WrestleMania 9. They're going back there again. They were just there for WrestleMania. They're going back there again in 2026. I don't think any of us had a childhood, really, without trying to mimic something to do with Hulk Hogan, ripping the T-shirt. You know, Hulkamania, what are you going to do when the Hulkster runs wild on you? I mean, there's just a million different things that guy represented. The whole brother. Yep. I mean, yeah, you can say play some respect to Hulk Hogan. Absolutely. RIP to that guy. It does suck. There's no kind of other way about it. Ozzy passing away yesterday, and now Hulk Hogan passing away today. They do tend to go in threes, so I don't know. Careful on that. So I don't know who else this week might be, getting a knock from the Grim Reaper, but not great. That's not great. So obviously the sports world, front page of ESPN.com to give you an idea of where we are with Hulk Hogan and his impact on so many people in the sports world. Yes, it's made up fake sports, but it's still sports entertainment, as they call it. Before we get to DBro, let's start the show with the opening line. All right, opening line for us. Are the Browns tanking for Arch Manning? It's not just Arch Manning now. It's Nick Saban, too. Now, give Colin Cowherd some credit. He's the one that kind of put some energy behind this story. But this was a story being talked about at the draft. This is not like out of left field that we're having these conversations about whether or not the Browns will tank for Arch. In April, an NFL executive wondering if the Browns will have, quote, temptation to tank for Arch Manning. According to a sports talk show in Cleveland, the Browns owner, Jimmy Haslam, is already, quote, obsessing over Arch Manning. He hasn't played the full year yet at Texas as the starting quarterback, but because he's a Manning and Haslam is incredibly tight to the Manning family, now there's all of this talk about the Browns and what they're going to look like. It doesn't hurt that the Browns have zero direction at the moment, and they have four, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterbacks who are currently in camp. And Shedeur Sanders might not be on that team for long. Just FYI, by all accounts, it sounds like there is some movement there that the team is like, yeah, we're not really committed to him. If he's around, great. We're not really worried about whether or not he's going to be here, for the long term for us. Kevin Stefanski kind of said it out loud that Shedeur Sanders, look, he's here, but it doesn't mean that we're not going to, we're not carrying 4 quarterbacks. And Joe Flacco looks like the guy that would be the starting quarterback, but they drafted Dylan Gabriel. Like they just have too many quarterbacks right now. But they also have a really difficult schedule. Like, look what they start with. Look at their schedule out of the gate for the Browns. Bengals at home. It's week 1, so Zach Taylor loses that game because Zach Taylor can't coach in week 1 like we know. So that's a win for the Browns, most likely. With it at the Ravens, the Packers at the Detroit Lions, the Vikings at the Pittsburgh Steelers, Miami and at New England before they hit their bye week. Like, Cleveland might win 2 games to start the year. And I might be being generous with them winning 2 games to start the year. But here's the weird thing. Kevin Stefanski is a 2-time NFL Coach of the Year. Like, I know that you might be a little frustrated if you're a Browns fan about what the team has done and looking at the division and going, okay, the Ravens are really good. And, the Steelers are the Steelers. And like, the Browns just can't figure out what's going on. They gave all this money to Deshaun Watson. They're basically trying to get out of that contract. And Deshaun most likely will never play again for the Browns after the Achilles injury. And so, like, there's all these things that are going on amongst, behind the scenes contractually that has put the Browns really in a difficult position just monetarily with the salary cap. So Stefanski's been trying to coach kind of with one arm tied behind his back for a while. It's not really his fault. I mean, he's 40-44. That's not great, but that's not horrific either, to be quite honest. But now Colin Cowherd is out here talking about the fact that he has been told that Nick Saban would come off the sidelines to coach the Browns, where he was a coach with Belichick all those years ago, to go and be with Jimmy Haslam if Arch Manning is the number 1 pick of the Browns next April. Now, there's so many ifs, ands, or buts to kind of attach this to. 1, does Saban want to coach again? 2, do the Browns get the first pick in the draft? 3, does Arch Manning become what everyone thinks he's going to be, which is going to be the first pick in the draft? Does Arch Manning get hurt this year at Texas and derail all these conversations? But if the stars all align, is Jimmy Haslam going to fire Kevin Stefanski, who's been pretty good, and say, okay, we're going to start over for a coach who went 15-17 in 2 years as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins and did not look like a coach that was really meant to be in the NFL? Nick Saban is a 73-year-old college legend. Why go to the NFL? Why take the risk that everything blows up in your face when you don't have the power that you used to have? You don't have the control that you need to make this go. Narrative betting is always difficult, all right? It's always really hard to say, all right, this team is tanking, so fade the Browns for the entire year, because they might not be. Only the people in that building really know. But given the fact that Jimmy Haslam is a massive donor to Tennessee and a huge, huge fan of the Manning family, you can make a pretty easy jump that this guy would fall over himself if he had a chance to draft Arch Manning, and he might create an environment that would guarantee that his team would have the chance to draft Arch Manning. You've got big questions at some pretty important positions in a very difficult division with a schedule like we talked about. I put up on the screen. That schedule is not going to be easy. After the bye, they play the Jets, then the Ravens. They're at Vegas. San Francisco comes to town. They play the Titans. That's probably a win. They play the Bears on the road in December. Have fun with that, but it's Cleveland. Buffalo at home, Pittsburgh at home, and the Bengals to end the season for the Browns. Like, how many wins do you think they have in there? 4? 3? There's just not a lot. So if you're going to just forget tanking for Manning, just the season as is, they're not going to be picked. They're not going to be favored in many of those games. So the Browns are going to have a tough year regardless of what happens with the quarterback spot or whomever they want to play at the quarterback spot. But I'm very curious to see, as the year goes on, how loud do the Nick Saban to the Browns rumors get? Because again, at 40-44, Kevin Stefanski has been underwater, but he is the 2-time NFL Coach of the Year with the Browns. He's done pretty well. He's 1-2 in the postseason, but he has a playoff win under his resume, under his belt. So it is Cleveland. It's a very difficult place to play, difficult place to win. But if you go ahead and say, all right, You get Nick Saban to coach Arch Manning. Maybe Nick believes that if he had a better quarterback in Miami, he would have been more successful. Okay. I mean, everyone says if Belichick doesn't get Tom Brady, there is no Bill Belichick. He's just another Browns coach, assistant coach that tried to become a head coach and washed out miserably. Became coach. Like, that's the real Belichick who was at the Browns. And we'll see at North Carolina. We'll see without Tom Brady, can he build a program? I don't know. There's no way of separating Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. They are linked forever. So maybe Arch Manning is the secret to the NFL success for Nick Saban. But at 73, again, we did the story last week about Lane Kiffin saying that he is very confident that Nick Saban will coach again, either in college or the pros. And there's been reports flying around, that Nick Saban is going to coach again at 73 years of age. He's not done coaching. So is it the Browns? Is that where he's going? And if it's not Arch Manning at the quarterback spot, does he still want that job? Or is it all dependent upon one pick and one player being that pick to get Nick Saban back into coaching? Be very, very careful with all of these things that need to button up and come together. Not good. But hey, we'll see. We'll see how it rolls if it winds up going that way. I wouldn't do it. If I was the Browns, I'd be pretty careful with what's going on there. But we'll watch it. Browns are going to stink, most likely. Let's talk about the NFC South. It is time to bring back our friend DBro from FantasyPros and BettingPros here on the Bostonian.
What's up, buddy?
How are you, my friend? Let's start right there. Where are the Cleveland Browns in your pecking order? How bad could they be this year?
Bottom 4, bottom 5 team. They're definitely in the run-in for the number 1 pick. You laid out the schedule here. I mean, I was like going and doing the math in my head, Perrault, and I was like, they're probably a 2-win team. If all these teams are who we think they are. And I don't think Saban comes out of retirement. I don't see that happening. Not to go to the NFL. I think if he comes back to coaching, definitively college. But I think the way that the Browns have constructed all this, as well as, and I went to go do the homework on this, Barry and Stefanski signed contract extensions. Now, the length of these,
we don't know,
was not reported,
but
they signed those in 2024. So even if that's like a short-term 3-year deal, probably not less than 3, they've got certainty. And I don't think you set up the roster like this, which if you look at just the totality of their roster, they're kind of in that in-between. Like the offensive line was once elite. Now they're getting older, injury prone. The defense is kind of in shambles outside of Myles Garrett. What can they get outside of, Denzel Ward in the secondary, maybe Greg Newsome. But really, this is a team that's kind of in transition. So can they do like a Rams type of soft rebuild where they get really young and now they have 2 first-round picks next year? They could do that, getting a quarterback and saying a young wide receiver or trade down and get more equity and just rebuild the roster. So I think this is kind of like a suck for luck kind of situation. They are going to be in play for a top quarterback. I don't know if that's going to be Arch because I haven't even dove in any of those quarterbacks, but I don't know if it's going to be Arch. I think that's the thing to take away from this is they are in the market for a quarterback. They are going to be terrible. If and a lot of the camp stuff is Kenny Pickett might be their starter. And if you're being serious, like if we're being a serious franchise, you don't put Kenny Pickett in the starting lineup over Joe Flacco if you're really trying to win games. But it makes sense for the Browns. So if I'm the Browns, if I was Stefanski, I would be running out Pickett out there and I would be running Dylan Gabriel out there. Even maybe Shador. Because one of 2 things is going to happen. You're either going to get one of these guys that pops and maybe you can trade them to a team, whether it's preseason, during the season, after the season, if one of these young guys on a rookie contract, if they pop, you trade them for a mid-round pick to a team that needs a quarterback, and then you go draft your guy. So now you just got pick equity, and what did you lose? Like you spend a 3rd-round pick on Gabriel. You spend even later than that on Shedeur Sanders. If a team wants to take him, then fine. But again, I agree with all roads should not lead to Joe Flacco. Like that's just, he's just there to kind of like not say enter the room, but he's there, to start some games if needed.
Yeah, break there for emergency, break glass if you have to pull Joe Flacco out. Do you think Sanders makes the roster?
Ooh. As it's currently constructed, they're not going to carry 4 quarterbacks.
Right.
I don't think he's going to make the roster. Considering what we're hearing about Pickett. Now, I thought there was a reasonable chance Pickett could be cut, but we'll see. I mean, I think Sanders is going to have to adamantly outplay maybe all of them in the preseason, or at least 2 of them in the preseason to make the roster. Like, I don't think that, like, obviously, I just don't think Cleveland is, because again, it's like the draft equity they sewed into him, and plus they're going to get their pick of who they want at quarterback next year. So, like, I think that, like, with the certainty that Barry and Stefanski have, probably Haslam's told them, like, look, do whatever you want this year. We win this year, cool. We don't, whatever. Get your quarterback next year, and let's go.
All right, let's get to the NFC South. We've done the East and we've done the North. Now to the South, where Tampa Bay is the reigning champs. They went 10-7 last year. Atlanta went 8-9. Carolina 5-12, and the Saints at 5-12. So obviously, there's a lot of room for improvement here with this division. Mm-hmm. Who has the highest ceiling in your mind of the 4 teams?
It's Tampa Bay. I mean, if the addition of the cornerbacks that they added to that roster, and now we're hearing all the Godwin stuff come out, but if Mike Evans, the drafting, now it makes a lot more sense with Emeka Egbuka, them drafting him.
Yeah.
If this offense can be what we think they can be, and they are stacked, man. They're loaded. The offensive line looks really good. They are stacked at skill positions, wide receiver. Baker's playing arguably, and I don't even know if it's much of an argument, the best football of his career. I think that this is a team that's going to clearly win the division.
Well, let's start
and honestly, like a quiet Super Bowl contender, to be honest, too.
Okay, let's start there, because you like Tampa Bay to win the division as one of your season-long prop bets for the NFC South. The Bucs are plus 110 to repeat as NFC South champs. You just said they're a Super Bowl contender? You think they're a sleeper for the Super Bowl? Wow. Why?
If the defense can really come on, like with the pass rush that they added this offseason, and really this all comes down to the cornerback play. If Morrison and the other corners in that room can be solid, if not, hit the ground running, this defense can be, because of they're going to give a lot of pressure just based off of how much Bowles likes to blitz and all the sim pressure he brings. If that defense and they can play complementary football, we know this offense is going to put up a ton of points, man. They're going to do that. They're going to be a top 12 scoring offense. So their defense can be league average. Heck, if they can outplay expectations with the cornerbacks that they added on the back end. Yeah, I was honestly surprised, Perrault. Like, this wasn't like minus, considering the Buccaneers have won the division in each of the last 4 seasons. Like, really, are we thinking that we don't think the Saints are going to even challenge for that?
Right.
Carolina, that's incredibly aggressive to think that they're going to challenge for anything this year, still building out that roster. And then what is it, the Falcons? Dude, we've been laughing on their draft classes for the last 2 years. I mean, even the Michael Penix stuff, if he hits the ground running, cool, the offense is good, but what the heck are we getting out of the defense? Like, they still don't have a cornerback to run opposite AJ Terrell. They drafted every off-ball 250-pound pass rusher they possibly can. They will not be able to stop the run. So any running back that's going to be playing the Falcons this year, just go ahead and auto bet their overs. They're going to get steamrolled in the running game.
Let me ask you this, because I just went over Tampa Bay's schedule. Mm-hmm. So this is a crazy stretch from the 28th of September until the 23rd of November. They play Philadelphia at home, at Seattle, home for the Niners, at Detroit, at New Orleans. Then they have a bye, and they play the Patriots at home, Buffalo on the road, and the Rams on the road. That's 4 of 5 games on the road, and that's 5 of 7 on the road for Tampa Bay. What do they go over that 7-game stretch? Can they go 500?
I think you're just hoping to weather the storm. That's you're hoping you get over 500, and then you get to the back half. And I think really what you're looking at, if you're looking for Tampa Bay to take, you're really looking at that weeks. So it's like weeks 13 through 18, for them to just dominate, where it's Arizona, New Orleans, the Falcons, Carolina, Miami, Carolina. Maybe by that time, Miami is a total dumpster fire.
Right.
Daniel's fired. Tyreek pulled his best AB. He's run off the field, and they're just a total mess. So really it's kind of weather the storm through the first 11 weeks of the season, and then you just crush and hopefully rip off 6 wins to close the season and end up with about 11,
10.
12 wins. Yeah, somewhere in there. Enough to take the division, which 10 would be enough.
Carolina, you like McMillan to go over 4.5 touchdown receptions. Where are you on Carolina as a whole? Where are you on this offense? Because someone's already said it in the chat that they think that Carolina's got a sneaky shot to wind up as the second best team in this division.
Yeah, but I don't think that's saying much. I mean, second best team in the division might be what? 6, 7 wins?
Oh god.
Maybe. Maybe.
It was 8. That was 8 last year, so.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking in that range. Like I think like 6 to 8 wins is probably the second place team in this division. It's not going to be 9 wins or 10 wins probably. So I don't think that's saying much, but Carolina, I think Canellis continues to change the culture and get players in there that can do that. And giving Bryce Young, I mean, this is the prove it season for Bryce Young. If he can be, and I'm not even saying like, I think he could take another step forward. He's still somewhat of a limited player. Like you got to scheme around him and get him outside the pocket and do your best Russell Wilson building of an offense around him. But if he can do what he did weeks 12 through 18 last year, this offense probably outperforms expectations. The defense has some parts that we kind of like, but not enough yet. So maybe they outperform. Maybe they can be the second team in this division. But again, I don't think that's more than like 8 wins. But I'm all in on the over for Tetero and McMillan. That, again, this line is really soft. I think a lot of that comes back to people's just general consensus thoughts of 1, this wide receiver class, 2, a lot of the shade that Tet got in the process, and 3, it's just Carolina, man. So the over for this is just too easy for me to bet. Like I thought this line was honestly going to be more 5.5, maybe 6. And the big takeaway I want everybody to have is, look, like I'm not telling you that Bryce Young threw for a ton of touchdowns, but this offense wasn't great for most of the season. If you look at how the offense ran, though, the over for Ted is just a slam for me because this offense was quietly, Perrault, 4th in red zone passing rate and 12th in passing rate inside the 10-yard line. If that comes back, Tetero McMillan's the wide receiver 1 of this offense. Yeah, Bryce Young could throw for like 23 touchdowns. Tet could slam the over here by midseason.
Ooh. Like it. Atlanta, well, it's Bijan right, Bijan left, right? I mean, this is what this offense is going to be. 17 games. He carries basically, 80, 90 yards per game, gets a couple of big ones. He's going to fly over this number. When you sent this, I went, wait, what's his rushing yardage?
Dude.
Is that simply just because of injury? Because that number seems ridiculously low.
It's ridiculously low no matter how you look at it, Perrault. Like, he's in the prime of his career. They're going to run the ball. Like, Bijan's already talked about this. Like, so him and Tyler Algier, like, if you want to go run out there and bet the over for Algier, I didn't even look at his line, but that's probably a bad line too, unless they're giving more credence to Algier than I am. But, dude, 1,150 rushing yards. This line is comical. He had almost 1,500 last year, and if you look at once he basically took over the backfield, so week 7 through 18, he was on pace for almost 1,700 rushing yards. So this line it's ridiculous, to be honest. Like, Book should be ashamed posting this line.
Is that your favorite bet of the 4 that we're talking about today? Is Bijan over?
Yeah, it's the low-hanging fruit for me. This is the one where, like, if you're starting any kind of like season-long prop, like parlays, like where have you, like this is one of the ones where this is a building block.
Okay. What's your outlook on Michael Penix for the Falcons? What do you think he'll look like? No Kirk Cousins around.
I think he's going to have some big flash moments depending on the matchups and the weeks and stuff like that. I think it's going to be a roller coaster. Just based off of how he's playing, how he plays as a quarterback. It's going to be a lot of downfield looks, a lot of downfield shots, and there are going to be games where he looks really, really good. There's just still a lot of like, I wasn't as high on him as a prospect as a lot of other people. He legit, like, you can go watch his college film. He does not throw well on the run. He has to set his feet. So he's not a guy like, we all talk about the athleticism, but that doesn't mean that he's a hypermobile quarterback and he's good when you get him on the move and outside the pocket. Now, can they use that to boot him, get him to spots, play action, stuff like that they couldn't do with Cousins? Probably. I think he's going to have the high-end moments, but I think it's going to be very much a roller coaster effect with Penix because the ball placement and accuracy, You could go back to college. You can go back to last year's tape. I watched all of his all 22 from last year, and the ball placement limits yak opportunities for a lot of his wide receivers. Like, he puts it on them, but he's not directionally accurate where he's hitting guys in stride. A lot of it's back shoulder stuff or hitting to spots. So he's definitely got to clean that up. But I mean, we know he's got a cannon and he's going to chuck it down the field. So the high end moments are going to be there at times.
Is Kyle Pitts just going to be this like mythical guy that has all the talent in the world and then never lives up to what everyone thinks he could wind up being in the NFL?
Yep. Unfortunately. And some of this just comes down to like schematically, like where he's at, like skill wise and how they utilize him. He should be utilized as a guy that, like, you put him on crossers and let him run away from people. You get him deep down the seam, like deploy him in more of a vertical fashion. We're also like seeing in training camp, I think this just hit a little bit earlier, he's working with the wide receivers. Like, yes, fine. Put him as a traditional X. Like, I would like Kyle Pitts more if you even moved him to wide receiver. I think that the tight end stuff, it's just, he wasn't even there starting down the stretch. Like, this dude wasn't even running like routes over 50% of dropbacks last year. So I think it comes down to just some of this is injury related to begin his career after the rookie season, but a lot of this also comes down to offensive design and utilization for Pitts.
Let's go to New Orleans, where Alvin Kamara has been their offense for the better part of a decade, it feels like now.
Mm-hmm.
Over 738 rushing yards for Kamara. He's one of the multi-purpose, multi-function, can do everything type of backs. But why do you like the rushing yards for Kamara this year, given the offense that we're going to see?
He's going to get the ball all the time. Looking at Kellen Moore, I mean, like, yeah, we could go to like different iterations of his offense and talk about utilizing certain skills and different things out of the running backs. The contract extension, which I was not a proponent, like, why are you paying an aging running back that money, Mickey Loomis? Like, I get it. Like, he's a staple. He's going to end up in their ring of honor and, they're going to retire his number and all that kind of stuff. But like, it's comical to pay an aging running back with Kamara's skill set, like that type of money. The contract extension they gave him, he's going to be the guy. He's going to be the bell cow. He's done that over every single year. This line is really low. I mean, like, he's hit the over on this line, Perrault, in every single season of his career outside of one injury year and his rookie year. So this is just a bet on health. If Kamara stays healthy, he goes over this line, even if the Saints are horrible.
Well, I think they're going to be horrible, but it's the quarterback room for me. I mean, they don't really have a quarterback. So, like, what else are they going to do? They got to run the ball because I'm not sure they have three. I'm not sure they have a single starter in that room right now. Are they going to start a rookie? Are they starting the 26-year-old from Louisville?
Probably. I mean, you give the guaranteed contract to Tyler Shuck. We've seen enough of Spencer Rattler, dude. Like, he's just not it, man. And Jake Haener is he can run an offense, he can be efficient, but not a guy you want to sit here and tie your franchise to long term. Again, this is another team. This is very much a Cleveland Browns situation. Like, I don't think Kellen Moore takes this job with the understanding of, okay, yeah, so you're saddling me with this quarterback and I got an aging roster and you want me to do what? So I think Tyler Shuck was like, fine, like second round picks. We see second round picks flail out, like burn out all the time. Now, was I happy that like they picked Tyler Shuck in the second round? No, not as a I'll say a former Saints fan. I've disavowed my fandom until Mickey Loomis and all the other parts or pieces of these fools are out. So outside of Kellen Moore, I'm in on Kellen Moore. Rest of it, gut it, burn it down. Let's take it down to the studs. But I think Tyler Shuck does start.
Would you trade Chris Olave? Like, what would you trade pieces away?
I mean, yeah. I mean, at this point, they're not going to do that. Okay. But yes, I think this is one of those times where it's like, look, like, just rip it all down, man. Like, stop doing.
Well, isn't that the most logical place for Arch Manning, where his dad played, where they're from in New Orleans? Like, if you're gonna tank,
or Nussmeier, he's a lot of ties. OC there, Nussmeier makes a lot of sense at LSU too.
Huh. I mean, because if you're going to put Arch Manning into the NFL, I just think New Orleans seems like the place where he would make the largest impact, right?
He would be New Orleans royalty from like the word go. He would be New Orleans royalty. Absolutely.
How many wins for the Saints?
I would have already bet. I actually did look at betting the under, but it's like minus like 150 or something. So I don't know. Let's walk their schedule.
So they open with Arizona and San Francisco on the road. Sorry, at home rather. So back-to-back home games.
0-2.
Yeah. At Seattle, at Buffalo.
0-3, 0-4.
Home for the Giants and the Patriots.
They're going to lose both of those.
Wow, to the Giants. I think the
Giants defense.
That's the game. The Giants have to win that game. The Giants have to win that game. That's my point with the Giants about if the Giants lose that game, it's all systems off for the Giants. Then they play at the Bears in October. Not awful, but dome team going to Chicago is not easy.
Taking Bears.
So now we're over here. We're into October. Tampa Bay at home.
Loss.
Okay. At the Rams.
Loss.
Can they beat Carolina on the road?
It's a split decision. I'll take Carolina in that though. I'll bet on Canellis.
Then they bet then they hit the bye at week 11. Atlanta at home. Rivalry game. You got to give them a
win. I'll give it to New Orleans. I'll just say they split with Atlanta.
Off the bye. At Miami and at Tampa.
Miami's a dumpster fire, so maybe they take that one depending on if Tyreek is retired and McDaniel's gone and it's a total just mess.
Carolina at home.
No.
Jets at home.
They're not going to beat an Aaron Glenn defense, no.
At Tennessee, at Atlanta to end the year.
I'll be gracious and say they beat Tennessee. But what is that? 3 wins?
3 wins.
2-win team? 3-win team? So like it's the Saints and the Browns of the race to the bottom, Perrault.
For Arch Manning. It's the tank for Manning situation. Here we go.
Oh, there's gotta be something like some kind of limerick. There's some alliteration that I'm missing. Like some kind of like because sucks for luck was so good. There's got to be something there.
Somebody more creative than us will come up with some idea for Arch.
Yeah, exactly.
To come, for Arch Manning. But the plays,
there's a t-shirt idea in there somewhere.
McMillan over 4.5 touchdown receptions for Carolina. Bijan over 1150 rushing. Alvin Kamara over 738 rushing. And the Bucs to win the division at plus 110. Of those 4, I gotta say, I love that Bucs play at plus money for Tampa Bay. They're the only team. They're the only team that's even like remotely good in that division, and you get plus money on that. That's a really good bet to take.
Shouldn't be plus money at all. That should be. What do you say, Perrault? Like minus 120,
30.
Yeah.
They should be. You should be paying juice. You should not be getting plus money on that.
It should be steamed. It just hasn't been bet enough yet.
Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield and everything going on in Tampa at the moment. It just seems like that would be, they almost by default, they win that division. Unless Carolina has like this crazy year. Everyone thinks that they're going to be the best team in the division because I don't really see it. But that's the one thought, I guess, is that the Panthers might have something to say about it.
They're at least one more year away, probably one more draft class away, and again, saying they got to nail the draft class, probably one more draft class away from like
contending,
maybe making some noise in the division.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Next week, we're doing this on Wednesday because you're traveling. The week after, you and I are both off because we'll both be out of here, but we'll keep going here as we go through all the divisions. You're the best. Thank you for the time. This was awesome. We'll talk NFC West coming up next Wednesday. All right.
Absolutely. Love you, brother. Have a good rest of the
guy. You too. That's D Brown joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book. Always great to get him on every week talking about what's happening for us here in the NFL and where we are from a divisional standpoint. Looking forward to breaking down the NFC West coming up next week with DBro here. Let's talk about what happened last night in Major League Baseball because there were some pretty fun things that happened on the diamond last night. All right, what happened last night? How about the Pirates making history? Well, first time since 1981, the Pirates got swept by the worst team in baseball, the White Sox, and then turned right around, and then they swept the best team in baseball and the Tigers. Like, wait, what? Like that's a really weird deal. Now, the worst team in the American League, I should say, because the Rockies are the worst team in baseball, but Tigers are the best team record-wise in Major League Baseball. How about that little bounce back? What are the Pirates? Who knows? That's why betting baseball in this part of the year is so treacherous. It's impossible. Like, there's no rhyme or reason. It's all over the place. I mean, even Paul Skeens now is winning games. It's wild. Like, the team is finally winning games for Paul Skeens when it comes to what the Pirates are doing. So, Tigers, though, More on the Tigers here in a second, but you can't get swept by the Pirates, guys. Come on. I know I don't like you. I know I've been bad-mouthing you, but woo, that is not good. Ohtani watch. Ohtani watch, 5 straight games with a home run for Shohei Ohtani. And just like that, bang, he now is tied for the lead for home runs in the big leagues with 39, tied with Cal Raleigh. Whew, that was quick. Like, here we go. Ohtani can throw a switch unlike anybody else. And when he gets hot, oh boy, look out. Just fire at the moment here for Ohtani. But the Dodgers keep on playing bad baseball. If you're a Dodger fan, it's like, okay, great. Ohtani is hot. Ohtani is hitting, but we're not scoring. We beat the Twins. Okay, like, yay, 4-3 after we got beat by the Brewers. But, like, this is not what you expect. 4 runs. I mean, they scored 4, 7, and 5 runs in that series against the Twins. Against the Brewers, they scored 5, 7, and 0. Like, this offense just is not clicking at the moment for the Dodgers. Ohtani, though, 5 straight. Can he make it 6 straight? Red Sox coming up tonight at Fenway Park. Not a bad option. Brian Bayo is going for the Red Sox at home. He's only given up 4 home runs so far, and the bullpen's been pretty good for the Red Sox, although Chapman gave up a home run in his last start, or his last appearance, rather. So I don't know. Does it keep going tonight for Ohtani? Probably not, but 5 games with 5 home runs is pretty darn impressive. And then how about this? The Rockies. The Rockies are back in the news for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons. I can't actually believe this because this is fun. As we do with Josie Myers on X, he's tracking the 25 Rockies versus the 24 White Sox. All of a sudden, we got a race because a 6-0 win for the Rockies over the Cardinals last night. They're now 26 and 76. The 24 White Sox were 27 and 75. Rockies are off today, but they blanked the Cardinals, snapping a 220 game mark without a shutout of their opponent for the Colorado Rockies. Like, look, you guys know that I like the Cardinals more than most. But that is not something you want to have happen. You don't want that on your resume where the Cardinals get blanked by the Rockies 6-0. 220 consecutive games where there was not a shutout for Rockies pitching. And they got it last night, 6-0 against the Cardinals. That is not the type of history you want to make when you're the St. Louis Cardinals. You got to win these games against the Rockies. But all of a sudden, the Rockies are right there. Now, I've got an under 59.5 ticket on the Rockies win total. I still feel pretty good about it, but let's not get too hot, guys. You can get hot, just don't get too hot. So all of a sudden, I'm starting to sweat that bet for the Rockies to have under 59.5 wins. I think I'm still pretty good, but 6-0 for the Cardinals. Like, okay, St. Louis, there's bad, but that's ugly. Let's talk about some bets. All right, I'm going to throw out a couple here on just the picks. Vegas and Indiana. So you guys are currently the poll for the cut BVB game of the day. It's currently up at the moment. You guys can scroll up to go ahead and jump that. Fever and the Aces at 56%. That is currently leading over the baseball game, the Padres and the Cardinals. To go ahead, you can go and vote on that if you would like. We'll close that poll here in a couple of minutes for you guys to be able to see which game we're going to go to cut.com or the Cut app. Download the Cut app. Use BVB when you guys sign up, and you guys can get a 10% deposit bonus plus $100 in free play to be given away to one lucky Brigade member who signs up and plays, makes a bet on the play of the day. Either side of either team that we go with. But I'm taking the over for Vegas and Indiana. The Stranger Thing uniform is being unveiled here tonight. That is your Indiana Fever and Stranger Things combination. New uniform. Not going to say I love it. Not going to say I hate it. But, okay. Caitlin Clark not playing tonight. Caitlin Clark is out again with the groin injury. But Vegas and Indiana, first game was 89-81. The second game without Caitlin Clark, Indiana went to Vegas and blew the doors off of the Aces. I don't think that happens tonight. I do think both teams score into the upper 80s, and I think we see this game go over 163.5. It was 164 at last check, so we'll see what that winds up getting into. So, but I'm going with the over. Vegas, Indiana, over 163.5 tonight. Stranger Things uniforms. I think we'll see how many buckets can be hit here for the Fever up against the Vegas Aces here tonight. And finally, I'm taking the Tigers on the money line. I'm going straight contrarian here tonight. The Tigers have the Blue Jays coming to town. The Blue Jays are a much better team at home than they are on the road. Reese Olson, this kid's been good for the Tigers. They're 32-18. They need to come back home. Detroit leads the season series 2-1 against the Blue Jays. Eric Lawler's not been bad. I'm not saying the guy's been bad on the road. Got an ERA of 3.2 record, 228 opposing batting average. Team has won every game he has started since June the 6th, except for one, his last road start. 2-1 loss. Wasn't his fault. He went 4 innings, gave up 2 earned runs. Team lost the game 2-1 to the White Sox. But Tigers are in desperate need of a win here after the way things are going here for the Tigers. You can't get swept by the Pirates. They got swept by the Mariners. They lost 2 of 3 to the Rangers. Like, they're going in the wrong direction fast here. And they got a game in Toronto for them coming to town that they need to get a W at Comerica Park. It's going to be 94 degrees at first pitch tonight, so it's going to be hot for the Toronto Blue Jay folks coming down from the Dome. Tigers money line. Little contrarian, little difficult. I'll give it to you. Wow, JPC, you're betting against your team. I like your team. You don't, and I don't like your team. But, I'm going to jump in there, take the Tigers on the money line, be a little contrarian, go against everybody who thinks it's going to be the Blue Jays to wipe the field with the Tigers, given the way they're playing, because there is no argument. The Tigers are playing like crap. All right, our BVB prop bet of the day. We are 3-0 this week for it. All 3 times. Now, look, it's PCA, right? So anytime you could talk about Pete Crow Armstrong doing big things for us, he's hit the last 2 days. Cubs aren't playing today, so can't go with Pete Crow Armstrong. I'm going to go with the other bopper, though. I'm going Cal Raleigh. Over 1.5 total bases. It's plus money at plus 105 for the Mariners game against the Angels. Now, it's Kikuchi for the Angels going here at home. And at home, he has a 1.98 ERA, a 4-1 record. However, Kikuchi has pitched the exact same number of innings on the road and at home, which is kind of weird. 59 innings, both on the road and at home. 7 home runs in both. 7 home runs. I think if Cal Raleigh gets over 1.5 bases, it's because Cal Raleigh hits a home run here. But Cal Raleigh has done this in 3 straight games where he has gone over 1.5 or 1, or I guess it's a half. He had 4 because he hit a home run in his last game against Milwaukee on the 22nd of July. He's had 1 hit, which is over a half a hit for him. So he's had a single or an extra base hit, a couple of singles for Cal Raleigh. I think Cal Raleigh, after yesterday against Milwaukee, on his last game, I should say, against Milwaukee, hitting a home run, I'm going to take Cal Raleigh either a double or a home run here tonight up against, or 2 singles for that matter, with up against Kikuchi at plus money. Take the bopper to come on in and jump in with that. So Cal Raleigh over 1.5 total bases at plus 105 for our BVB prop bet of the day.
Cut it out. Come on, cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. Get out.
All right, guys, time for Cut It Out, being presented by our friends at if you guys haven't gone and checked out what we're doing for the poll, 53%. It's getting tight between the Fever and the Aces and the Padres and the Cardinals. When we're done with this segment, I will close that poll and I will tell you which game to go to cut to go ahead and bet. If you don't know what cut is, it's a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's legal in over 40 states. You're going to bet directly against your friends or other users on basically anything for sports, politics, pop culture, personal bets. All the bets, all the plays are pre-funded. Nobody can flake. You can customize your own play. You can offer your own odds on different bets that you would like. It is a social first platform with chats and fan groups and, ways of having leaderboards for you and your friends. You get rewards and you get cash back on every single bet. You can go to cut.com or you can go and download Cut in the Apple Store or in the Android store. And like we talked about earlier, for Cut, Padres, Cardinals, Aces, Fever are our two options. When you use the promo code BVB, you get a 10% deposit bonus at cut.com, and one Brigade member who registers, uses the code BVB, and goes and places a bet on either side, Padres, Cardinals, or Aces, Fever, depending on the game, $100 in free play will be handed over to your account coming up later on today at cut.com. So, all right, this story is wild, and it happened in Massachusetts. This guy looks like a Paul Corcoran. If you're from New England, you know why that's funny. Like, this guy legitimately looks like a Paul Corcoran. He defied the odds by winning not once, but 2 times in the same Powerball. He played the numbers, and then he forgot that he'd already played the numbers. Like, wait a minute. What are we talking about? How is this possible? But he goes out and wins not once for $1 million. He wins $2 million in the Mass Powerball. And then he goes and shows up looking like that, looking like he did. I mean, that's pretty impressive to go ahead and do that when you don't even, I can't even win a scratchy. And this guy winds up winning not once, but he wins it twice. If I won $2 million, I've always said this, like, there would be signs. Like if I win $2 million, there will be signs of me winning $2 million. Like, things will be purchased that shouldn't be purchased. Corcoran had initially purchased a multi-draw ticket that was valid for 7 consecutive drawings, including on July 9th. Believing that the drawing had already passed, he mistakenly bought another identical ticket covering that same draw. But they both won. July 9th produced 8 $1 million match 5 winners across the country, and Corcoran held 2 of them. 2 of the 8. According to the Powerball, the odds of matching 5 white balls to win $1 million is approximately 1 in 11.7 million. You would then double that to have 2 separate tickets with the same number to win that much money. Like, that is unbelievable. Like, that is unbelievable to wind up having that happen. Like, there are odds, and they are just like, cut it out odds. Like, cut it out. Like, stop. Like, that's ridiculous to wind up doing that. And then not only do you wind up winning $2 million, you show up to the lottery looking like that with sunglasses and looking like you just came back from a 5-day bender in Vegas, with his name being Paul Corcoran. With, I think, if you know New England, it's perfect that his name was Paul Corcoran. That is just absolutely tremendous. Cut it out, being brought to our friends at Cut, and we will wrap the poll right now. It is going to be time. Fever and the Aces. There is your game. Fever, Aces. Aces -2. That's your BVB cut.com play of the day. That's what it looks like on your app and on your screen. WNBA, Aces, and the Fever. Go and pick either side. It doesn't matter what you bet. $5, $1, doesn't really matter. Go and make the play. $10 deposit bonus with the code BVB at cut.com. You guys can go ahead, download the application. It's legal in over 40 states to go ahead and do this. Aces Fever -2 tonight. If you like the Fever +2 at home without Kate and Clark, great. If you like the Aces -2, great. I will ask Cut what we saw from guys signing up with BVB and how many of you guys got it right. This is your money, not mine. The last time we tried to prove this and do this, it was my money and it didn't work. This time, it's your money that you guys are going to be betting, but one of you can win $100 today when you use the code BVB and sign up with that 10% deposit bonus at cut.com. Go play Fever in the Aces, the cut.com BVB game of the day. We'll see how you guys do picking either side for this. Again, I'm on the over. If you want to not bet the side, you want to bet the over. I'm on the over for the game at 163.5. I think that's the best play of the game, but I do think that we're going to see a win here for the Aces up against the Caitlin Clark-less Stranger Thing wearing Indiana Fever with their current iteration, the current situation with what they got going on. All right, time now for the Circa Sports Pro Football Story of the Day. Circa Sports, you guys know about our friends at Circa with the Ultimate Football Contest weekend that's going to be happening on August 21st and 22nd. More millions guaranteed. Circa Million, Circa Survivor, signing up everyone there in person, and you can play for anywhere if you hire a proxy. Circasports.com for full details, but it's $1,000 for each contest entry, multiple ways to win, and no rake always being taken out of the contest by Circa Sports. Our Circa Sports Pro Football Story of the Day. Jets say Justin Fields has a toe injury. We now know the severity. That came out about an hour ago. It is not believed to be serious. But Justin Fields, who's supposed to be the starting quarterback for the Jets this year, already getting hurt this early in training camp, is just absolutely the Jets. Like, if you're Aaron Glenn, you're like, man, these guys told me it's the Jets. I got to be very careful of this. This is not good. He left camp today with a toe injury. How long will he be out? We don't know. But any time is too much time for Justin Fields getting hurt today at Jets training camp. Hurting the toe. It better not be a broken toe, because then you're missing multiple games or multiple preseason games in a long time. But okay, I get it. It's Justin Fields, not Lamar or Burrow, but they need him. Okay, the Jets, they don't have much else. So you're trying to start a new franchise, start over with that franchise with a new head coach and Aaron Glenn coming in, and you have a new quarterback in Justin Fields. Not good. You don't want injuries this early in camp to your quarterback, on top of the fact that it's a foot injury for a guy who needs to run to be effective. That's not good. Time for the Brigade Proxy Service. College. Got it right. College team of the day. College team of the day, Brigade Proxy Service. You guys can go and text us at 702-570-8255 to book your appointment to sign up for any of the contests, Westgate or Circa, any of them. Even the college football contest that the Westgate is starting this year for $500. You guys can get in that. We'll proxy for you as well. You guys can go to our website, thebvbshow.com, as well, to make an appointment with us to come on in. Our team of the day is the Miami Hurricanes, 9.5 wins. Under is juiced at minus 154 for Miami. We talked about their opponent in their first game already. We talked about Notre Dame yesterday. The Irish, it's a huge game for both these teams. Irish going on the road, taking on Miami and Carson Beck. If they can win that game in week 1, that is huge for the Miami Hurricanes to start their season. Miami, the defending champs out of the ACC, obviously Cam Ward, big time shoes to fill, but they went out and paid Carson Beck to leave Georgia and to come on over. You got to think the team's going to have something to be said about the ACC. Notre Dame, though, tough opponent, top 10 team. Bethune-Cookman, yawn. South Florida should be a win. And then they play the Gators. Now, that's a rivalry on rivalry, but they play Florida State on the road the next week. That's a conference game. Like, that is a really interesting 2-game stretch for Miami to play Florida and Florida State at home and on the road in back-to-back weeks. Then it's Louisville and Stanford, at SMU, home for Syracuse, at NC State, at Va-Tech, and at Pitt. No North Carolina, which is interesting there. The Hurricanes will not play Bill Belichick in his first year in conference play. If you look at the stats or the prices for the ACC championship, plus 390, Miami is behind Clemson to win the ACC. You win the ACC, most likely you're going to get in to the college football playoff. But how will Carson Beck look in year number 1 in Miami? He has a lot of attention. He has a lot of heat on him to deliver for this Miami Hurricanes offense that looked great last year with Cam Ward running it. And if he wants to be drafted, he's not going to be taken first overall already. But there's going to be scouts that are going to say, Cam Ward did this with this offense. Carson Beck did that. And does he elevate or does he take a big step backwards? Does the team take a big step backwards for the swap out for that? Watch Miami. I would say, looking at the schedule, I would go under. I think there are 3 losses on that schedule for the Miami Hurricanes. I think they lose to Notre Dame. I think they lose to Florida. I think they lose to Florida State. The rest of the games they should win. But I think losing, and that's why it's juiced to the under at minus 154 to the under. I think losing 3 games is very likely for Miami this coming season. And that's if they win their road games. At Florida State, I think is a loss, but SMU is not going to be that easy. At Pitt is never easy for Miami in late November to go up and play the Panthers. So that could be a treacherous trip for them to go north that late into the year. So for me in Miami, I would be careful with that. I say I would take the under 9.5 for the Miami Hurricanes. If you guys are watching us on replay, thank you for being here. We are off on Friday. There'll be a best of coming up on Friday, and then we will be back on Monday on Sports Grid and Sirius XM with another fresh and live edition of the Bostonian versus the Book. If you guys are watching live, however, on YouTube or on Twitter X, don't move. Instagram too. We're on Instagram all week. We're on at Sports Talk Matt, my Instagram account. We're going to stick around. You guys get bonus time. All right. Couple things from you guys. It's just, I think they'll beat Florida State and take the over. Okay. So they lose to Florida, lose to Notre Dame. So they go 10-2. It's plus money. If you like it, it's not bad. Zach Bethune-Cookman's a loss. Cut it out. What are you doing? I agree, Roger. 4 losses even. Okay. I say 3, but you could count 4 for Miami. That's not crazy. That's absolutely possible. For Miami. We got a couple things left. We'll do news of the industry and favorite thing about today here in just 1 second. But somebody was asking about the Hulk Hogan. Did we talk about Hulk Hogan? We did talk about Hulk Hogan. And also, I asked you guys a question on the Discord channel yesterday, and I'm reading all your responses. I appreciate all you guys have taken the time to write. And I asked the question. You guys can still go and ask on the Discord channel. Again, if you need to get there, it's thebvbshow.com to jump in. But I want to know what you guys want to see. So as I talked about yesterday with the update for Dave, and that we had thought it was going to be, I don't know how to say this properly, but we thought there was a pretty good shot that Dave was going to be back on the air with me on August the 21st at Circa. Now, I still think Dave will be there. I think Dave will be able to join us. I just don't know if Dave's going to be able to come back to talk and to be a part of the show, given what's going on right now with his diagnosis. So I have to make some arrangements and some changes that there's a really good chance that for football season for this year, I'm doing the show by myself. So I'm committed to doing this. I don't know. I sit here with Amanda almost like every night. And I'm in New Hampshire, and I'm not back in Vegas. And like my sister we have the rehearsal dinner tonight. It's my favorite thing about today. And then the wedding is tomorrow. That's why we're off tomorrow, because the wedding's tomorrow. So I've got just like such crazy amounts of emotions flying around me because my little sister, who's 26 years old, I'm 48. I have more of like an uncle than brother type relationship with her, but I've been so tight with her and so close to her that the reason why I love being a girl dad is because of my relationship with my with Maggie. And so I credit her so much for teaching me and helping me learn about child development and what kids like and don't like. And so I'm all over it. What I'm trying to say is I'm all over the place mentally, emotionally right now, because I have this like incredible high. And then I have this incredible low with Dave and the battle that he is going through. And he just spent 14 days in the hospital. So I'm asking you guys, like, what do you want to see? Like, what do you guys want from this show? It's your show more than me. And I know you don't want me talking nonstop. I get it. Like, you don't want just me. You want Dave. I want Dave. But since we can't have Dave, what do we do to make do? Like, what do we do to make the show work for you guys that makes you want to come back and watch the show and be as active and be as involved and come out to the live shows and support the show the same way, even though it's just me? So I asked that question in the Discord channel, and you guys have given me some really good options and some really good things. Over the weekend, I'm going to have some time to kind of sit down after the wedding's over and really kind of look at your suggestions and write them down and try to find out what the best move is for us. But like this cut thing that we're doing today is kind of one of those things that was suggested. That was an email that was sent in and said, hey, can we do something like to get us through the dog days? Can we do a group bet of some sort? And like, there's no like really easy way to do it, but I threw the idea. I actually sent the exact email that the brigade member sent to Cut and said, how do I do this? And they came back with this idea of like, well, let them pick a game, A or B, which game, and then we can put it up as the BVB Cut play of the day. Let them go there and bet it. They'll track as to how many times it was bet, and then we'll be able to go ahead and just call it the cut.com and bet and BVB Cut play of the day. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is what I'm talking about. $100 to one of you guys today for the BVB game of the day who goes ahead and uses that promo code BVB at sign up. $10 10% deposit bonus for anyone who signs up. So you put $100 in, you get 110, and then you may get $100 back from Cut if you're the one that gets selected for picking Aces and the Fever. So we did that vote, Aces and the Fever. So we'll do, and again, tell me in the Discord channel, go to Discord and tell me whether you liked that or not. Like, did that work for you? Do you want it done differently? Is there something else you want us to do from a bet perspective? Like on live, doing this show with just me producing everything, I'm sort of limited to how much I can actually do. Like I can't do much, right? like I can't do very much because it's just me. I only have so many fingers, so many eyeballs and, brain cells to do all of this. So I'm trying to give you guys as much quote normalcy. It's why I'm bringing on DBro. That's why we brought on Andrew Erickson yesterday. It's why we brought on Emerson, and we'll keep on bringing on different people. I'm not going to get a co-host. Somebody in the Discord channel said, why don't you bring on co-hosts or have a person come in and co-host the show with you? I can't do that yet. Now, maybe down the line, maybe if things really go the wrong way for Dave and we have to seriously think about for the life of the show, like how long Dave will be out. But until then, I don't want to work with anybody else. I didn't leave radio. I didn't change my whole career to go work with just anybody. Like I left my career in radio to go work with Dave and to start this show with Dave. I don't want to work with anybody else. I don't want to have a co-host. Even for a day, I don't really want to have a co-host. Like I feel a lot of loyalty to that chair, to Dave. And so I can do this by myself. And since I can do it by myself and bring on guests and have multiple guests throughout the week, even multiple guests throughout the show, but for 1 hour, what I'm committed to doing for Sports Grid is a 1 hour show. I give them 60 minutes every day. That's what I have to do contractually. So it was 2 hours, me and Dave. Now it's just 1 hour. So we're on from 10 to 1, 10 to 11 Pacific, 1 to 2 a.m. Eastern is when BVB now runs on Sports Grid. So I don't want to go and do a 2 hour show with somebody else. I don't think it will be as good. I actually think it will be worse because it will be a facsimile. It'll be, a fugazi, a fake. It won't be real. The show will be different. So that's the only option that somebody suggested in the Discord channel that I'm not going to actually do. I don't want anyone sitting in that chair permanently or even temporarily with Dave. So that's just the only thing that I've nixed. But other than that, like, tell me what you guys want. Tell me if you like the cut idea, if you think it should be tweaked, if you guys want different opportunities. I'm open for business on so many different things, and like just keeping the show alive is the most important part. So we can have it here. So whenever it is, when Dave comes back, because I have given Dave my word that this show is going to be here for him whenever he wants to come back. If that is in 1 month, and if that's in 1 year, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to keep going and trying to do as much as I can, right, to do this. And so like, I've thought about like, do I change the name of the show from the Bostonian versus the books, plural? And so until the book comes back, it's me versus the books from a betting perspective. I've thought about doing that. That might be something down the line that we look at doing, but for the moment, it is purely just a holding pattern for what we're doing. And we have sponsors who are calling me. We got people who want to bring the show out. Like it's so difficult because the question they always ask is, okay, when's Dave coming back? And I don't know. Like I don't know when Dave's coming back. So like you're just dealing with me, and it's a difficult thing because I'm like, I feel like I'm fighting a battle with one arm tied behind my back because I'm not supposed to be here by myself. We're not supposed to be going to do shows alone. Like we're not supposed to be, going to Circa and doing 2 shows, just me, or going to the Breeders' Cup and doing 2 shows and just me. Like that's not how the show was supposed to be. So this is a gigantic transitional period that I want to serve you guys and give you guys a chance to have a large say in what we do, what we add, and how we do it. So Discord channel, go ahead and jump on thebbbshow.com. There's a direct link to the Discord channel. And under the brigade chat is where basically everyone hangs out in our Discord channel. Go ahead and tell us, what's going on and what you like, what you don't like. News of the industry. And yeah, we'll go a little longer today than normal because we are off tomorrow. So there's no show live tomorrow for us. So we can go a little bit deeper, longer than we normally would. This is something we were waiting on, and it has happened. 3 tribes have sued Kalshi. 3 California tribes have jumped in. They've sued Kalshi and Robinhood for, quote, illegal sports betting. It is the first federal lawsuit filed against Kalshi rather than by the prediction market. This is not going and saying, okay, we're going to sue you in a state in which you are operating. No, we're going federal. And this has been 3 different tribes that went to the U.S. District Court in Northern District of California asking for an injunction to block Kalshi from offering what they're calling illegal sports betting on their reservations, aka the country. The tribes are arguing that the contracts being offered by Kalshi on their lands goes against the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, the IGRA, which has always been the crux of the argument that people have made, saying, wait a second, when did the tribes get involved and say, hold on, when Kalshi markets themselves as the first nationwide legal sports betting platform, that means we have lost the sovereignty that we were promised about gaming on the reservations, that we control what happens. The tribes are deciding to not sit back and wait for the CFTC to do something because, as we have talked about on this show extensively, the CFTC is going to do nothing. They're going to do nothing to Kalshi. The guy who they are going to put, Brian Quintez, to run the CFTC, which will govern the sports prediction marketplace, is the former head of Kalshi. Do you think he's going to stop Kalshi from doing business? No, not even close. So for that reason, the tribes have no choice. They have to play offense. They have to go and be aggressive on this. These are federally recognized tribes stepping forth and suing 2 companies using the IGRA. As Daniel Wallach, sports gambling legal expert, wrote on X, winning strategy by the California tribes: play offense, not defense. 2, tribes, not Kalshi, will be moving for a preliminary injunction. And 3, by contrast, the states have allowed Kalshi to avoid legality question by limiting its complaints to the lone issue of preemption. They're saying it's illegal. The tribes aren't saying, well, what they're doing isn't right. What they're doing isn't appropriate. They're not saying there should be a preemptive thing where, well, sports gambling is okay. Sports gambling is fine, but sports prediction marketplace, that's gambling, so they can't do it. They're calling the act illegal. They're coming in and saying what Kalshi is doing is illegal because it's in violation of the gaming pact that we have signed with the federal government. I don't know how Kalshi wins this case. I'm not a lawyer, but I don't know how they win this case. And this going on offense is a big darn deal. It's a big darn deal in my mind. coming in. Good job, Addison. Appreciate you. He's taking Fever +2. If you guys want to go on the other side, you can do that with Cut. That's very, very cool. Okay. Thank you, Zach. Jets just said that dislocated his toe for Fields day to day. Dislocated big toe or little toe? Big toe. Ow. Little toe? Favorite thing about today wraps up the week for us. Oh, Sonic took the other side. There we go. Ish took the other side. Going down. All right. I like this. This could be kind of fun if you guys start talking trash to each other with bets. Again, if you don't know what we're talking about, you just jumping in and be like, what the hell are you guys talking about? We have picked for the first time a BVB play of the day, game of the day. $10 deposit bonus when you use that when you sign up with cut.com. $100 is going to one of you today. They're going to pick one random name, one random person that signs up with the code BVB today for a 10% deposit bonus. I mean, again, $10 and you get $1. It's just 10% bonus. So you don't, there's no amount of money you have to sign up for. They give you a 10% deposit bonus to go play with whatever you want to play with for Cut, but they're going to pull it. One person that signs up with that promo code today will get $100 into their account for free play. You guys can take whatever side you want, Aces or Fever. Which side? I would take the Aces -2. Addison takes the Fever +2. I'm on the over. I mean, like, well, for a full unit, I'm on the over. I like the over as the best play, but that's just, that's just me. But that's what I would jump in on today for that if I was going to bet that game straight up. But I'm really excited about what's about to happen here for this weekend. So you guys saw my sister. My favorite thing about today is that the wedding weekend starts here in 4 hours, where the rehearsal dinner is tonight at 6 p.m. with my sister who is getting married. She appeared on the show on Tuesday. If you missed any part of it, you guys can go back and look at that. And I'm debating whether or not I tell the story of taking my sister to Dre's. How old do you think my sister is in that picture? Because the guys thought she was 21 at Dre's nightclub. That was taken the first night I spent in Las Vegas when I moved to Las Vegas in December of 2015. We were going to a concert for The Weeknd. Remember him? The Weeknd was performing. He didn't come on till 2 o'clock in the morning. My little sister in this picture is the grand old age of 16 years of age. 16. So fake IDs work in Vegas, clearly. But to this day, here's the story. We're driving from Tucson, where we spent New Year's Eve, to Las Vegas for the last leg of our drive, going from Houston, Texas to Las Vegas to move me. My sister had previously moved me from Boston to Houston. So we did it again from Houston to Vegas. So we're driving. It took us 3 days, stopped in a variety of different places. So then we wind up heading from Tucson, Arizona, from University of Arizona, where we stayed in for New Year's Eve. And then we went to Vegas. She sees it on her phone. The Weeknd's playing. Can we go to The Weeknd? Can we go? I'm like, it's a 21 plus over show. She goes, yeah, so. I'm like, what do you mean, yeah, so? She's like, I have a fake ID. I'm like, what do you mean you have a fake ID? She goes, it's from China. I have a fake ID from China. She shows me the fake ID. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good. It looked pretty decent. I was like, wow, that might actually work. I was like, but Maggie, if you get caught, it's gone. It's gone. She's like, yeah, I know. I'll risk it. Okay. So I look like me still. Okay. I look like me. That's still what I have, gray hair and, not someone who looks like, I'm not a, at the time I looked the part. How about that? I'm about 30 pounds heavier, but I looked the part of an older guy in Vegas. My sister is 16. She's 16. We go to Dre's. We buy the tickets. We get 2 tickets to go see The Weeknd. We're going to Dre's nightclub on the Strip above the Cromwell. I know everything about these places. Knew nothing about it at the time. We're walking in. We go to the front of the line. The guy sticks my sister's fake ID into the slot to read the ID. And to this day, I say that the thing came back with a black X. Red X. It was a red X that was on his little scanner that said fake. He looked at me. He looked at my sister. He took the ID and handed it back to her and said, have a good time, guys. And that was the first time that I realized that Vegas had a lot of shady stuff going on at times in places that they would rather look the other way. If you just give them something that says the person is of age, they get in. Because we got in. And that's Dre's nightclub. And that's my sister. And yes, at 16, I'm giving my sister alcohol. So the question is, do I tell that story tonight at the rehearsal dinner? I wouldn't tell that at the wedding, but do I tell that story at the rehearsal dinner tonight with everybody else? I don't know. So yeah, I made the Epstein list. I made the Epstein list pretty much. Yep. It was there. Yes. On that. She has no right to be that. Yes. To be related. Yes. My sister is an absolute gem. She's I could not be happier for her and Josh to get married tomorrow. And I could not be happier to be in the wedding and could not be happier to celebrate with them and to be able to take my daughter and Amanda and her son Brooks to it tomorrow. It's just going to be a really fun life moment and something that has been looked forward to for a year. A lot of preparation, a lot of time has gone into it. So I apologize for missing the show for tomorrow, but I'll give you a full recap on my socials at Sports Talk Matt, and then we'll get into it on Monday as well as we'll come on back for another full week of the Bostonian versus the book. I will be here for all 5 shows next week, and then we're off for a week as I head over to Scotland to go see Oasis on the 10th of August. So back for all of next week, then a week off, and then we're back for football, rocking and rolling, and I'll be back in Las Vegas on August the 11th as we start back up with the Bostonian versus the book. Thank you very much. Don't forget to post the props. Oh, what do you mean? Like the props for the wedding? Do I got to print it out, or do you guys want to see the props? Hold on. Can I put those up? Let's see. I don't know if I have it. Oh, I don't have it. Hold on. Let's see if I could find it. Because I have made it, and there's actually a form. I just don't know if I'll be able to load it from StreamYard. I'm not sure they'll let me load this. Oh, they're gonna let me load this. Here's the prop bet sheet, guys. Here's the wedding prop. Here's the wedding props. Okay, I'm giving $100. I'm the book. How long will the ceremony last? Over under 20 minutes. Will my brother start the ceremony with hello or good evening? He's very quirky. Could be other on that one. Will Josh cry during the ceremony? The length of the best man speech? Who will give the longest speech? The best man, the maid of honor, or the father of the bride? Will there be a choreographed dance routine? First dance song. This comes from my sister. She gave me the 3 options. Will she toss her bouquet? Will somebody fall on the dance floor? I got that. I'm banking on that being a yes. I think someone's going to fall. A number of times will the glasses be clinked for a kiss during the reception. The tiebreaker will be which groomsman takes off his tie first here for us. So there is my wedding prop sheet for the wedding tomorrow for my family. Whoever gets the most right. I'm going by value, by the way. I'm not going by correct picks. Whoever winds up, because if you go ahead and take a plus 200 and you knock that down, I'm giving you, or you take father of the bride for longest speech and that comes in and that wins, I'm giving you the value play. I'm giving you $100 based on value, not just a number of picks correct. People are going to be totally freaked out by that. No one's going to understand that. They're all going to freak out when I tell them that's how it's going to go. But that's it. There's my betting for the day. Mortgage on bouquets, yes. Over 1, 3, yes. Father of the bride parlay. How about that? Look out. I don't know. I don't know. We're not, Roger, there's no garter belt. At least I hope not. That's creepy as hell. I really hope to God that's not going to happen for my daughter, or with my daughter there, to have her aunt do the garter belt thing. That's the one part of weddings I've always thought has been super creepy. With all your family around, super creepy. Garter belt thing is real weird. So hopefully that's going to happen. Hopefully DraftKings has moved the number. Yeah, move the damn number, right? Here we go. Move the damn number. So, guys, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Really fun. Back on Monday for a live new episode of the Bostonian versus the book.